Hey guys, it's Brittany. Welcome back to Under the Radar Books. Today we are doing a book haul from when we went book shopping. This is the lovely Joce from Squibbles Reads.
Hello!
She's visiting me and we have gone on a book buying extravaganza. So we will also be... What is happening? What just happened? Okay, we will also be posting another part of this haul on Joce's channel, so I will link that down below when it is up so you can see hauls from both of our channels. There will be 2 parts. So I will go ahead and start, and the first book that I'm going to show is one that I'm so excited that I found at Half Price Books. It is Everything is Illuminated by Jonathan Safran Foer, and I actually had another copy of this, but I love Popular Penguins, and so I was so excited to snag this one up. I'm always looking for them, and they're really hard to come by, so really excited about that. This follows the story of a young boy who travels to Ukraine to find the woman that saved his grandfather from the Nazis, and I've heard that you will never have read anything that is like this, so very excited. I still have yet to read anything by Jonathan Safran Foer, which is pretty much a crime. So I've got to get on that, and I am excited to read this one.
Okay, so the first book that I have to show is called Shortcomings by Adrian Tamine. This is actually a graphic novel. It's about a guy named Ben who lives in New York, and he is Japanese American, and his girlfriend is also Japanese. They have been dating for a while, however, she is worried that his eye is wandering in the direction of specifically Caucasian women. So in this graphic novel, there is a lot of commentary about race, about dating, and truth within relationships.
The next one that I have is very shiny. Oh god. It is called... there we go. It's called Used and Rare, Travels in the Book World by Lawrence and Nancy Goldstone. And this, I just saw this on Leslie's channel on Words of a Reader, and she talked about it and just really, really loved it. And it follows this couple who lives in Manhattan, and they actually find a really old battered copy of War and Peace and end up making tons of money off of it. It ends up being like a first edition or something. So then they start to realize that they have this love of searching for used and rare books and reselling them to people who are really going to love and appreciate them. So it just sounds like a really interesting exploration of the book world and how that all works and how we love to collect books and just the fascination behind that. So definitely excited to get to this one.
So the next book that I got is called Ruby by Cynthia Bond. It's also very shiny. This book was nominated for the Bailey Women's Prize for Fiction. I think it was shortlisted. It is about a boy named Ephraim who falls in love with a little girl whose name's actually Ruby. They live in the small town of Liberty in East Texas. Ruby eventually moves away to the big city of, again, New York, and she is enthralled by like all the bars and just the opportunities that are there. But I believe that a tragedy brings her back home. I don't know if that's true. I've also heard that there are some magical realism elements in this one, so very happy that it was nominated and excited to read it too.
Next up, I grabbed a graphic novel, and this is Lost at Sea by Bryan Lee O'Malley. And it doesn't tell too much in the blurb. It just talks about a girl named Rayleigh who is a teenager. She supposedly doesn't have a soul because a cat stole it, so that sounds super intriguing and really random. It says Rayleigh is 18 years old. She has no idea what she's doing. If you've ever been 18 or confused or both, maybe you should read this book. So this seems like a lot of fun, and I'm excited to grab it.
Okay, so this next book is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really, really excited about it. And it's also Disney, and it's called Before Tomorrowland. And this book takes place in the world of Tomorrowland, so it does take place in the year of 1939, and it involves the World Fair. And basically what happens is that this mother and son is given a comic book to unlock a conspiracy with a secret society. And this is a middle grade book, and it does take place in the same world that the movie took place, and I did really, really love the movie, and the book is so gorgeous.
Look at that gold foil.
Gold foil!
Okay, so the next one that I grabbed is called Birdy by William Morton, and I had never heard this before, but the cover is amazing. And it is about 2 teenagers in pre-war Philadelphia. One of them is obsessed with being healthy and fit and meeting girls, while the other one is really obsessed with the process of flight and what that entails. And one of them actually ends up struggling with some psychological issues and ends up in an asylum. It is a story of their friendship and how it progresses and tragedy and things like that. And so it just sounds really great. I've heard it be compared to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is one of my favorite reads, so I'm really excited to give this one a try.
Okay, so this next book I borrowed from the library about a month ago, but of course, like all my other library books, I started them and had to return them because they were due. But I did find a copy at Half Price Books, and it was only like $5. And of course, this is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Everyone and their mom is reading this book right now, but it comments on a lot of racial issues and being a minority group female. It's about a Femlu who moves to the United States to pursue academia, and she is originally from Nigeria, so there is definitely a lot of commentary around her being Nigerian and interacting with African American Black people in America and how those cultures differ. Alright, so really happy to have gotten this one and to finish it up.
The next book that I found was one I've been eyeing for a while, and this is a YA title. It is called The Game of Love and Death by Martha Brockenborough, and this follows basically the concept that love and death play this game, and every couple hundred years they pick two people, a boy and a girl, and basically they're controlling their actions or setting things upon them. So they compare, let's see, they do Antony and Cleopatra, Helen of Troy and Paris, Romeo and Juliet, and now the current protagonist in this book, Henry and Flora. So death has always won in these situations, and love is trying to win this game. So it sounds really, really interesting. I think people compare it to The Book Thief, which was a really powerful read for me, so I definitely wanted to get my hands on it. It is set in World War II, so I think it's going to be a powerful read for sure.
Alright, so the next book that I have here is The Diving Pool by Yokogawa. If you guys have watched my channel before, in one of my videos I talked about The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yokogawa, which is also a small novella of about 200 pages, so I definitely had to pick this one up. This one is a trio of novellas, and a lot of them revolve around love, motherhood, fertility, and also some mental health challenges in kind of a bizarre way. For example, one of them is about a teenage girl who falls in love with her foster brother as he dives from a diving board into a pool. Another one is about a woman who is tracking her fertility and I guess wanting to get pregnant. And the last one is about a woman who goes back to her dormitory that she used to live in, and it is now being run by a mysterious triple amputee with one leg, which is what it says on the blurb. I really enjoyed Yokogawa's writing the first time because it was really quietly beautiful and a little bit haunting, so yeah, really excited for this one.
And my last book for this haul is Crash by Jg Ballard, and I've been wanting to read his books for a really long time. He writes very experimental fiction, and I think this is probably his most famous work. It follows a scientist who basically takes the victims from car crashes and experiments on them, so it sounds very creepy and very dark. It's supposed to be a classic work of kind of experimental and dark fiction, and so it really sounds right up my alley, and I'm curious to see if this is an author I will be interested to pick up more of.
Right, so this is going to be my last book too, and it is a Europa edition, so it has these like really beautiful French flaps in it, and this is called Broken Colors by Michelle Zackheim. We are following a woman named Sophie throughout her life. She was born in England in the First World War period, and she is an artist, and at that time being an artist in London was not really the greatest for her finances. So she eventually moves to France, where she meets an Italian sculptor and they fall in love, but unfortunately their relationship does disintegrate. She eventually ends up moving to America, where she starts another relationship with another man. So we are following this woman throughout her whole life. It has very lyrical writing apparently, which I have heard, and it also discusses art and love and finding a passion for art and how that weaves into her life as she ages.
Okay, so that is the first part of this book haul, and like I said, I will link the second part on Joce's channel down below as well. Also, if you guys have read any of these, please let us know in the comments down below, or if you're going to be adding these to your TBR. We'd love to hear it. So until next time, happy reading, guys.
Bye!